Nassau, The Midnight Dance, London, 1887. The autumn wind carried the scent of rain through the cobblestone streets of Covent Garden. Gas lamps flickered along the narrow lanes, casting long shadows on the wet stone. The city hummed with the distant sounds of carriage wheels and street vendors closing their shops for the evening. In a small, unassuming building, wedged between a bakery and a bookshop, Eleanor Whitfield adjusted the gas lamp above her work table. The golden light danced across the bolts of fabric that lined the walls. Silks from China, cottons from India, velvets from France. She was 23 years old, with auburn hair that fell in soft curls past her shoulders and eyes the color of warm honey that seemed to hold 1,000 unspoken stories. Eleanor was a seamstress, not the kind who worked in the grand ateliers of Mayfair, dressing duchesses and countesses. No, she was the kind who worked alone in a tiny shop, mending torn hems and patching worn jackets for the women of Covent Garden. Her days were long, her pay was small, and her world was measured in needle and thread. But tonight was different. Tonight was the annual Whitmore Masquerade Ball, the grandest event of the London social season. For 300 years, the Whitmore family had hosted this magnificent gathering, inviting only the cream of society to their sprawling estate in Belgravia. Dukes and duchesses, earls and countesses, ambassadors and industrialists. They all came, masked and magnificent, to dance beneath the crystal chandeliers of Whitmore Hall. Eleanor had never been invited. She was a seamstress, not society. Her invitation list consisted of the washerwoman on the corner and the baker's wife across the street. Yet here she stood behind the curtain of her shop, holding a mask she had secretly sewn from scraps of silk. A midnight blue mask adorned with tiny golden stars she had embroidered by hand over the course of 3 weeks. Each star was a prayer, each stitch a wish. She had made it for herself, a forbidden indulgence, a whisper of the life she dreamed of but could never have. "You're being foolish," she whispered to her reflection in the small spotted mirror above her work table. "What would you even do there? You don't belong in that world." But something pulled at her heart tonight, a longing she couldn't name, a whisper that said, "Tonight, be someone else. Tonight, step beyond the life you know." And so, an hour later, Eleanor walked through the grand doors of Whitmore Hall, wearing her best dress, a deep burgundy gown she had sewn for a client who never collected it. The fabric was rich, Italian silk, and she had lined it with golden thread that caught the light like liquid fire. Her midnight mask hid her face. No one would know she was just a seamstress from the corner shop. The ballroom was breathtaking. It stretched the length of a cathedral, its vaulted ceiling painted with scenes of Greek gods and mortal lovers. Crystal chandeliers, dozens of them, each one worth more than Eleanor's entire shop, cast rainbows of light across the marble floor. 100 couples waltzed to the music of a live orchestra, their movements graceful and effortless, as if they had been born to dance. The air smelled of perfume and possibility, of jasmine and old money, of dreams that had already come true for everyone in the room. except Eleanor. She stood at the edge of the room, clutching her fan, feeling every bit the impostor she was. Her hands trembled, her heart raced. She should leave. She should go back to her shop and her needle and thread and forget this madness. Then she saw him. He stood alone near the French doors that opened onto the moonlit gardens, watching the dancers with an expression she couldn't quite read. He wore a simple black mask that covered the upper half of his face, and a dark coat of the finest wool that spoke of quiet wealth, not the loud, ostentatious kind that the merchants wore, but the understated elegance of old money, old families, old traditions. His eyes, the most striking shade of green she had ever seen, like emeralds lit from within, seemed to search the room for something, or someone. Their eyes met across the crowded ballroom. It was like being struck by lightning. Something shifted in the air between them. A pull, invisible and irresistible, like a thread connecting two hearts that had been waiting lifetimes to find each other. Eleanor felt it in her bones, in her breath, in the sudden steadying of her trembling hands. He crossed the room in 3 long strides, moving through the crowd as if drawn by an invisible force. The other dancers parted before him, and Eleanor noticed, with a start, that several women turned to watch him pass. Who was this man? May I have this dance? His voice was deep and warm, like aged whiskey, and it carried a confidence that came not from arrogance, but from knowing exactly who he was. Eleanor's heart hammered against her ribs. She should say no. She should leave. This was a world that didn't belong to her, and he was a man who could never belong to her world. But she took his hand. They danced, and in that moment the entire world disappeared. There was only the music, a slow, haunting waltz that seemed to have been composed just for them, and the warmth of his hand on her waist, and those extraordinary green eyes looking at her as if she were the only person in the room. "You're different," he murmured, his lips close to her ear. "I've never seen anyone dance like you. Perhaps I've never seen anyone dance like you." She whispered back and was surprised by her own boldness. He smiled, a slow, genuine smile that reached his eyes. "So am I. I've been standing by those doors all evening, watching, but I wasn't watching the other women. I was looking for someone." Eleanor's breath caught. "Who?" "Someone real," he said simply. "In a room full of masks and pretenses, I was looking for someone who wasn't pretending." The clock began to chime. Midnight. Eleanor pulled away, as if waking from a dream. "I have to go." "Wait!" He reached for her hand, his fingers brushing hers. "At least tell me your name." But she was already running, her burgundy dress trailing behind her like a river of crimson silk, her mask pressed to her heart. She ran through the streets of London, her slippers splashing in the rain, her heart beating with a rhythm she had never known. She didn't look back. Lord Sebastian Blackwood stood in the empty ballroom, watching the door through which she had vanished. The orchestra played on, but he no longer heard the music. His hand still held the warmth of hers, and his eyes still searched the darkness where she had been. He had spent the last 3 years searching for the right woman. Not the right title, not the right fortune, not the right family connections. The right woman. someone who saw beyond his title, beyond his wealth, beyond the Blackwood name that opened every door in London, someone real. And tonight, for the first time, he had found her. "Who are you?" he whispered to the empty room. The months that followed were agony. Sebastian searched London for the mysterious woman in the midnight mask. He visited every tailor shop, every dressmaker, every seamstress in the city. He sent his butler to make inquiries at every social club and ladies' association. He attended every ball, every gala, every social event, hoping to catch a glimpse of the woman who had stolen his heart in a single dance, but she was nowhere to be found. Meanwhile, Eleanor returned to her quiet life. She sewed by day and dreamed by night. She kept the midnight mask hidden in a box beneath her bed, wrapped in silk, a reminder of the night everything changed. She never told anyone about the green-eyed stranger. How could she? He was a gentleman, probably a lord. She was just a seamstress. Their worlds were too far apart, separated by an invisible wall that no amount of dancing could break. But Sebastian never stopped searching. He had his butler make discreet inquiries at every shop in Covent Garden. He walked the streets himself on weekends, visiting every modest establishment, asking about a woman with auburn hair and honey-colored eyes. 3 months passed, then 4, then 5. The seasons changed, the leaves fell, and still he searched. It was December when he finally found her. He had gone to a small dressmaker's shop in Covent Garden to commission a gift for his mother, a silk scarf in her favorite shade of blue. The bell above the door chimed softly as he entered, announcing his arrival. The shop was warm and fragrant with lavender. Bolts of fabric lined the walls in every color of the rainbow. A small wood stove crackled in the corner, filling the room with gentle heat, and behind the counter, her back to him, stood a woman with auburn hair pinned up in a simple bun, her hands busy with a needle and thread. She turned around, and their eyes met. Eleanor's hand flew to her mouth. The green-eyed stranger, the man from the ball, the man who had haunted her dreams for 5 months, he was here, in her shop, standing not 3 feet away, his green eyes wide with recognition and wonder. "You," Sebastian breathed. His voice was barely above a whisper. "It's you." Eleanor's heart stopped. "My lord?" "Don't." He stepped closer, his eyes searching her face, memorizing every detail. "Don't call me that. Not to me. Not after what we shared." "You know who I am?" she whispered. "I've been searching for you for 5 months." His voice cracked with emotion. "Do you know what that's like, to find the person who makes your heart beat and then lose her?" Tears filled Eleanor's eyes. "I'm just a seamstress. I'm nobody. You are the only somebody I've ever wanted." He reached out and gently removed the pin from her hair, letting it fall in auburn waves around her shoulders. His fingers lingered for a moment in the soft curls, and Eleanor felt a shiver run through her that had nothing to do with the cold. "That night at the ball," Eleanor whispered, "I was nobody. I was just a girl in a borrowed dress." "You were everything," Sebastian said softly. "You were the only real thing in a room full of masks. But your world. Forget my world. I don't care if